Time for the Stark Report.
How did you come up with the title?
Well, it's a play on words. Jayson Stark, Stark Report. Jason joining us weekly on the program. And Jason, good morning. We always kick off these conversations with a little trivia. What do you have teed up for us today?
All right, we got a little Francisco Lindor trivia for you. Francisco Lindor has had 2 different seasons in his career, man, with at least 30 homers and at least 20 stolen bases. Only 2 active players have had more seasons like that. So can you name them?
Well, I got to put Mike Trout as one.
Yeah, that's the first one I thought about. And we'll think about that.
Think about it.
Oh, he's exercising some caution in that. But, you know, we'll revisit that in a minute. We want to hit you with this, though, because this offseason has been defined not so much by splashy free agent signings as it has blockbuster trades. Already a handful of them. Are there more to come? And the name that I want to throw out there now, and we talked about it earlier with J.P. Morosi, Kris Bryant. I mean, if this happens, it would be considered a blockbuster, regardless of the compensation package, regardless of the acquiring team.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Matt. And I think the Yu Darvish deal tells you where the Cubs are right now, what they're thinking. They're clearly looking to trim payroll, and they're looking to restock their system. And I think if there's a Kris Bryant deal coming, it'll be very similar to that Yu Darvish deal, just kind of a lighter prospect package. I think the more interesting question is, if you trade for Kris Bryant, what are you getting? You look at his career numbers. This is career OPS plus. You can see he ranks with the best third baseman in the game. And hey, if you want to look even historically through age 28 season, Mike Schmidt and Chipper Jones are in the same neighborhood. But then if you're looking at 2020, Kris Bryant was actually one of the worst third basemen in baseball. But look, there are reasons for that. Wasn't healthy, strange season. Even Nolan Arenado shows up on this list. So the difference between what he had been up until this year and this year is enough that I think you're going to find a team that can take the money and has the need. There are obvious fits in the NL East. One thing that I think you should look at is Justin Turner is still a free agent, and it might behoove the Cubs to wait until Justin Turner signs so that they know whether the Dodgers are a fit. But I think Kris Bryant is going to get traded. What about you?
Wow. I mean, just that suggestion a few years ago would have been, you know, such a ridiculous thought that the idea that now it's being talked about is still a little unsettling to me. And it really does signal the complete disbanding of the 2016
Well, it's also
team.
the finances. I mean, really, that's a big part of it, playing into the whole thing. I think Kris Bryant's going to bounce back. The other thing people are missing with Kris Bryant is if he's not a third, he can help you anywhere else on the diamond.
Yes.
That's the caveat with him.
You know, and the thing too, Jason, we talk about this a lot, and it's a part of the storyline. I don't think it's a comfortable conversation for everybody, but is there bad blood between the Bryant camp and the Cubs because of the perceived service time manipulation? That I don't know that they're over that. You know, Theo's gone. You can't blame him anymore for it. It's business. And the Cubs played it according to the rules, but it was unsettling to the player and his agent at the time, and I'm not sure if that bad blood's gone away.
Yeah, it's never gone away. I think that's clear. Scott Boras hasn't forgotten it. Kris Bryant hasn't forgotten it. But look, right now, this is a business decision as much as it is a baseball decision for the Cubs. He's a year away from free agency. His agent is Scott Boras. He's not signing. They're cutting payroll. They're rebuilding. Like, what does all that add up to? It adds up to me that Kris Bryant has got to get moved this winter at some point.
Yeah, you lay out a pretty good case as to why that is a perhaps more than a possibility, but a likelihood. Let me hit you with another name here, because a couple of years ago, similar to the conversation around Bryant, the idea that the Brewers would shop or deal Josh Hader would have been met with a no-way response. Now that Devin Williams has established himself as the untouchable member of that Brewers bullpen, is there a path to a Josh Hader blockbuster trade?
Yeah, that's a fascinating question, because this is really the second consecutive offseason that we have heard these Josh Hader rumblings. Last time I checked, he's still in Milwaukee. And I think there are a couple reasons for that. One is the price has been very high. Like they're basically looking for the Edwin Diaz deal. That's hard to do. The other thing is you've had this packed, jammed, free agent relief pitcher market until last night. None of those guys had signed, so there are other options. But look at the screen. I think, I don't know about you, I would take Josh Hader over any of these free agent relievers. You're looking at one of the most unhittable relief pitchers in the history of the sport. These are all-time leaders. So this is an interesting situation because his ERA has gone up a little bit every year of his career, but I think the number for 2020, very misleading. Half of the runs and half of the hits he allowed for this season came in one game. You take that game out, you're still looking at microscopic numbers.
I think
he's a guy with 3 years of control left. So should the Brewers trade him? I think it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Tell you what, the other thing, Jason, I'll throw out there, where teams maybe have some reservation, is the Brewers wore this guy out. I mean,
for sure.
he has put some hard treads on those tires because he's in high leverage all the time, and they used him a lot, and they rode this guy for a couple seasons really hard. So that would be my reservation of, how much can he continue to have, even though I got 3 years of control? That'd be the question.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's kind of a similar career path to Craig Kimbrell. Craig Kimbrell had very similar dominating numbers early in his career, and then you see the issues that he's had lately. But I do want to say that the Brewers and Craig Counsell have tried their best to be careful with Josh Hader. Yeah, they've ridden him hard. Yeah, he has had a lot of outings of 1 1/3, 2 1/3, multiple innings. But when he has those nights where he pitches a lot, they've shut him down for 3-4 days if they had to let him recover. So he's still a really intriguing guy. Just the price is very high.
Yeah, I was going to offer that same thing. They try to avoid back-to-backing him. They do try to care for him as much as he does get a lot of appearances and everything's high leverage. That's a good point. So, all right, let's get back to this trivia question because I've had 5 minutes to chew on it here, and I think I have a couple of responses. Francisco Lindor has had 2 different seasons of 30-plus homers, 20-plus bags. Only 2 active players have had more. I'm gonna guess, is Altuve one of them?
Altuve is not one of them.
How about Christian Yelich?
Christian Yelich also has 2, but he doesn't have more than 2.
Acuna hasn't been around long enough.
Acuna's done it once.
Yeah. Is Trout not one of them?
Trout.
No, Trout is definitely one of them.
Okay.
The Stumper is the other guy.
I got one more guess. Is it Trevor Story? Yeah,
Trevor Story's
I got
great
one more.
guess. He's
I got
also
one
done
last
it twice.
guess. My last guess.
Yeah.
I'm saying Chris Bryant.
Bryant has never had one of those.
It better not be
seasons.
Zach Greinke, who's the answer to every one of your trivia questions. Braun. He's still active. Yes, we forgot about Braun. Unsigned.
He's my other favorite stumper. You know who's done this once? You would never guess. How about Nelson Cruz had a 30-homer, 20-steal season back in 2009?
Yeah, I was just saying, it's Texas days, right? Or somewhere back then, he could run a little bit. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
Jason, as always, we love the stuff. We love the perspective and the trivia, and we'll talk to you later on in the week.